Welcome, beautiful souls. I am the magical medium, and welcome to this waning gibbous pick a reading. It was really fun putting this together for you guys today. There's a lot of cool energy. I'm going to bring the lighting down just a little bit. So if you're new here, welcome. If this is the first reading you're ever seeing of mine, I do things a little bit differently sometimes. Most of the time, when I do pick-a readings, it's exactly what it is. Those are 4 readings before you. I know people say pick a card, pick a pile, whatever people want to call them. Spirit has me call them pick-a readings. And in a lot of cases, it's because they're so different. And it's not just about picking a pile on a subject and like, oh, this word or that, title or whatever. It doesn't matter. This is like I don't even know what these are because I haven't seen them either. So I can't even tell you what's behind, door number 1, door number 2, door number 3, and door number 4. I don't know, which is super fun and exciting for me too. But I'm going to put my granny glasses on. I just want to make sure you guys can see everything because it's a little dark in here except for the flash. But anyway, when I was working with Spirit setting up this reading, they just wanted me to kind of talk to you guys about what's going on with the energy. And so when you are welcome to stay and listen to, this is like a divine reading, divine messages from Spirit for the collective. And then when you are ready, you go into the description box and you will see links to each reading, and I do them separately. Yeah, so there will be emojis there. I know right now, I'm pretty sure I know what the emojis are going to be. Also, each reading has its own theme song for you to listen to, and I will put a link to that. That will be in another section of the description box, which is research, watch, listen, whatever. It's like more breadcrumbs, more extensions of your reading, so to speak. And I put the same thing in each description box of all of the readings. So then that way you guys, because sometimes you're pulled to one reading, then you're pulled to another reading. Maybe, a year from now, you'll be pulled to a completely different reading because you're in a different place in your life, right? These are mass messages for many people. It's about inserting your story, but don't make something that isn't your story into, you know what I mean? Like Spirit's really adamant about that with us. Because it's easy to, like, if you're in a negative state, say you just got in a fight with your significant other or your child or a parent, a friend, whatever, and you're like, huh, I'm gonna, oh, also 303, new people here, I call things out, will also be in the research box for you to look up. But you're antsy. And I remember one time my mama said that when you're texting people, um, it's hard because you don't hear the inflection in someone's voice. And if someone is angry when they're 328, if they're angry when they are texting back, that's the energy that they're going to put into the reading. The reading, ha 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 ha, Freudian slip into the message, which, by the way, I just have to put a little thing in here. I understand frustration, by the way, for some of you that are struggling, because this energy has brought up so much shit for all of us. But I'm just going to put a little thing in there. I'm just going to inject a little spirit of my own from my own life. It is so frustrating to have my very, very, very deep biblical Christian mother, who I don't talk to anymore because I can't. It's difficult. It's like pulling teeth. It's straining. It's just, and I don't like to be called the devil or a heathen or whatever. Satan. Heal her, Satan. Oh no, heal her, Satan. Oh, interesting. Heal her, Jesus. Oh, that's interesting. But that's the part she's got to heal, right? But my mama is like this, like, prolific fucking healer. Like, the things that come out of my mom's mouth, like, for years I just thought my mom had really good advice. And then she'd say, well, my mama always said. And then I realized it was my grandmother. And then some of them, my mom would say, well, those come from, my grandmother. So my great grandmother, right? And then it made me realize that, over the years, we have been spelling witchcrafting, crafting, spelling, these magical connections with each other for centuries. But we call it different names, give it different labels. We love on it or we hate on it. We shame it or we revere it. It's, whatever's in trend too, right? Or whatever's going to get our bills paid or whatever's going to save our family. Just this, so much shit has been coming to the surface for everybody. But yeah, it's like my mom is this amazing witch. She's a powerful power. All the women in my family are like some of the most powerful witches I've ever met in my lifetime, which is why I had to stop talking to them because of the struggle. So during this eclipse season, I really had so much shit come up from my family, from my ancestors that have passed on, just some really, really intense stuff. And I realized that if you've looked at the last 3 readings that we've done, from the 1111 portal reading and that was like a massive channeling. That was really hard for me. That was hard for me to let go of control, to allow the 9 to channel through me, to give those messages, to bring those light codes in. That was really, really hard. But at the same time, it was so rewarding and fulfilling, because if I hadn't gone through eclipse season, and then before that, retrograde season, you know what I mean? Like, this whole year has been just really tough for most of us. It's freaky to me that it's November 13th, like on the money. A month from today, I will be 51. And I swear to you, it's like my 50th birthday feels like it was like 4 months ago. It really does. Like, I'm not just saying that. People are like, oh, it feels like this is like 2 days ago. It's like, no, it really does not feel like it was 11 months ago. And time is different now, and we are different. And if you're brave enough to listen to these transmissions, if you're brave enough to walk through these doors, spirit is going to help you level up. But it hurts. I mean, for the empaths out there, I don't know what you guys were going through, but literally from the last week of eclipse season, it was just like getting worse. I thought I was getting allergies or something, because I didn't feel sick. I just felt tired or nauseous, or like I couldn't, as much as I'd want to eat like junk food, it was like my body was craving pure foods. It was really interesting. And then, and a lot of shit happened from Samhain too. But anyway, feel free to share below if you've been going through any physical things. And yes, those are angels, fairies, whatever you want to call them, spirits that have been flying into the camera. I am a channeler. I am so blessed to do this for a living, that this is my job. I'm so grateful to spirit to, bring me into this world with you. So basically, long story short, you are not alone. And I don't know what are behind these cards, but the energy with the waning gibbous moon energy is release. It's after the full moon, right? Because the full moon, we're in this like, it's the full moon. And a lot of us, our cages were rattled with that eclipse. It was a full lunar eclipse. That shit makes a fucking difference when the planets, and when we pass each other, it's like every planet, stars, everything in our outer sphere affects everything on the inner sphere of Earth. So that's why astrology is so interesting and important. And I think for me, one of the reasons why I've pushed astrology back so many times in my life is because I feel like it's kind of like the culmination, if that makes any sense for me. Like, I feel like I had to study all of these other things first, like in depth, as much as I was drawn to, so that I could better understand it. Because every time I try to work with astrology and study astrology, it's like dyslexia, like every form of whatever. It's like the words are jumbled on the page, and so I can't explain it. It's so I just know, like, I'm just not there yet. Like, it's not that chapter hasn't come yet. So don't be hard on yourself if you don't understand certain things, or if your purpose is, you feel, let's just say this. Let's say you're a shoe salesperson, right? You love shoes, you sell shoes, you're like, I fucking love shoes or clothes or whatever. And you do that and you love it. And it's like your favorite thing. But at the same time, you're totally obsessed with like tarot cards or the occult, or you want to know like certain things. And you always thought, oh, it's just a hobby. Well, spirit's like, did you ever think maybe the shoes and the clothes is a hobby, and that actually that the cards and that is your purpose, like to help people? Now, it's different for everybody. This is a situation like myself, right? Like, I loved working with fashion. I loved it. I loved it. I still do. I still do. I'm excited to bring it back into my life. But, but I needed to kind of set that world aside for a while so that I can dig deeper into what my true purpose was, which is this, is to be a medium, a channel, and a teacher. I am forever a student because I'm learning all the time. But now over the last few weeks, I've just been like, we're all on our own form of enlightenment path, right? But something just exploded inside of me and changed inside of me. My husband and I, like, we just, like, so much stuff has happened and transformed us, and it's really hard to talk about, honestly, because I'm still processing it, and I promise at some point I will put it all out there. But just a lot all at once. And I've said this forever, that I've always felt like I needed to walk the path first before others could come. I always knew that I was meant to show my path and put my whole world, my whole life out there so that people can see that there's nothing to be afraid of, that I didn't come out of a box like this. I wasn't raised with a family that was like this, and I was really blessed that, two of the shamans that I worked really closely with, they were their mothers and their grandmothers. They worked, I mean, I studied so many different, types of medicine and gypsy magic and gypsy witches and indigenous medicine. And I've just been really blessed to study under a lot of really powerful light workers and shamans. So it made me realize that I was always meant to do this, to do the same thing, to be a leader, to be a shaman, to be a teacher. They're just labels, they're just words, but it's for me to share my experiences with you. How could I empathize with you, even as an empath? How can I really truly support you or guide you through your path if I haven't walked some form of it myself? So, it doesn't surprise me. Am I angry some days and upset that that we're still living like this? And for those of you who know my story, you know what I'm talking about. And welcome back. Thanks for always coming back, you guys. I love you so much, tribe. And to the new people, thank you. But yeah, it's been a long road for me, and so we're gonna move into our house soon. Today we were blessed with a sink, and I said, I feel like once we get the sink, everything's gonna fall into place. And I shit you not, when I saw the sink, I was like, oh my gosh. And my husband's going to pick it up today, and I was like, oh my gosh, like, we're so close. We're so close. 12:43 and then 12:45. So, you can't give up, and it's for me to show you that I went through it too, and I still didn't give up. Did I punch and scream and yell and horrible things come out of my mouth? Was I a controlling maniac? Was I an evil dark witch? Fuck yeah. Did I, yeah, you name it. I've probably done it, said it, you know, graphically, like, fucked it, you know what I mean? Like, in my lifetime, I've just, like, had all these experiences. And it's just really interesting when you go on social media and you see the things that people put out there about their personal lives, and then how other people will come on and attack it or judge it or whatever. I've just been seeing so much, bad behavior, not very kind, not very compassionate. And I think a lot of people are in shadow right now. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of dark night of the soul going on. And I feel like a lot of us light workers, like, we had to squeak through that last eclipse, because we had some heavy fucking shit we had to deal with, because we've got some really beautiful things that are coming down the pipeline. I'm not saying that next eclipse season in 6 months from now won't be as hard. I don't know. I hope not. But, at the same time, we grow and we grow and we grow, and we become stronger. We become warriors. Today, Spirit, this was like, I wasn't even sure what was happening here. I'm like, what is going on here? Because, like, most of you know I like, order and structure or whatever. And this seemed like, but it was like I just let, like, my hand just, like, went. So it's probably to help you choose your piles, but or readings, whatever you want to call them. But yeah, each of these are piles of cards for readings that are going to help guide you onto the next phase. Like, what do we need to, in this waning GIBBOUS, and this release and restore energy? I think it's release and restore. I think that's what they call it. Oh, excuse me. No, it's not, because rest and restore is the 8th phase of the waning crescent. You'd think after almost 10.5 months of doing this, I'd know by now. And throat chakra, speak your truth. We got to still keep working with our throat chakra and breaking through those barriers. So the waning gibbous is the reflect and release, and it's the 6th moon phase. So even if the number 6 means anything to you guys, 1519 and then 1520. But I've been changing it up. I have new spirit guides, new people I've been working with. The 1111 portal was really wild. It was really like kind of mind-blowing to watch it back when I had to edit it, because I allowed Galactica from the 9 to come through my body, which was very bizarre. I really grappled with maybe there was some darkness there and that she's, whatever, because she had mentioned something about, my channel and donations and things like that. And I don't do that. I used to, and I don't do that anymore. I really do love this, and it is my job. And I know that once I hit a certain amount of subscribers that I will be able to have, I don't care if people pay me at all, but I obviously do have to pay bills. And so, Spirit is, when it's time, I will get to that many subscribers so that I will be able to have advertisers. I pay for no advertising a month because I do. I'd rather pay for it than I just can't. I can't deal. It's too much. But I will make sure that, because I've been approached for a long time. I've been approached by many, 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 many advertisers. Some that were really legit. Like they weren't like those like, hi, I'm from this country and blah, blah. And no, they were like fully legit. Like I interacted with them, researched the company. And I was like, no, because it's not, they're like, we think we'd be good for your brand. I'm like, no, I'm like, we're not. I was like, we're not on the same page. And I'm like, thank you anyway, and because I always knew deep down when it was time that all of these videos will naturally gravitate to who they're going to. And we're starting to grow in numbers because people are waking up even deeper. My channel isn't for everybody. If you go into the about section and read the about section, Spirit had me write that. That's the fucking truth. 17, 23, and 24. That is the truth, is that, if you found yourself here, you're a really powerful light worker. Like you have a much bigger purpose than other light workers even. Like I've known that for a long time, that I was meant to, kind of grow in the masses and help people grow and evolve. Now that doesn't mean that we'll get people here that are novices. You could be a novice. Maybe you've never ever had a reading in your life. Maybe you've never, you've been interested in the occult, but you've never studied it or whatever. That doesn't mean anything. You're still a really powerful healer. You're still a powerful light worker. And for whatever reason, you've gravitated into this orbit, into this channel, into this tribe of people. We are strong in numbers. And there are many of you there's so many of you if I started to name off, if I forgot anybody, I'd feel bad. But there's so many of you that have been with me for a long time. And I love you and I appreciate you and respect you. Thank you so much. It's because of you guys and your donations and the cards and the money and all of that, the prayers, everything, that I am still here today, that my husband is still here today. So I will never ever take you for granted. I will never ever take any prayers or love that comes my way for granted. I hope you know that. And so the 1111 portal reading, I really want you to watch it, just because there was a lot of healing there, a lot of channeling with the ancestors. It was really profound. But I know that Galactica doesn't want me to say that kind of stuff, because she wants me to start being strong about it and being like, no, like if you are gonna, go out for breakfast with your friend, or you're gonna go have a cup of coffee, or you're gonna whatever, she was just like, my gosh, they can, do the same for you. And she said, people have taken you for granted for too long. Like, she just really sat with me afterwards. And I don't know how to explain it, but I swear she's like, either I'm a part of her and like, we're all one and whatever, but it's like, I can't explain it. I have an old notebook from years ago when I first started writing my first novel. And I am not kidding you guys, which someday hopefully I will finish. But Galactica came to me then, and I just thought she was a character in my book. I had no fucking idea. that she was real and that I just wasn't ready to know her yet, you know? And so when she came through on the 1111 portal, I was like, she's like my great, 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 great grandmother, or you know what I mean? Like she's like, I'm from her somehow. So I always had a connection to the 9 that I didn't understand, but like that it was just, yeah. So watch that episode. I'll put a link below. But yeah, it's been a really cool experience. So thank you for walking this journey with me. You know, thank you for being brave enough to stand in your truth too, and to walk your path, whatever it is. You know, sometimes the path is really long and it's really hard, and there's nothing we can do but just endure, you know, and cry and get it out, you know, especially as the empaths. Work through it and then let it go. Work through it, then let it go. Work through it, then let it go. We can't hold on to it. Bring the fairy back. Bring the light back. Bring the energy back. The darkness is part of us. Don't fight it. But don't keep it there either. You know, if you want to sit with it for a day and fucking eat junk food and watch movies and cry, fuck yeah, dude. Do what you gotta do. Get it out. You know? And if you have to do it the next day too. But just don't stay there too long. You know? Get in and get out. I learned the hard way. I was just sitting with darkness and sadness and other people's darkness and sadness. And we don't realize how much we can be sponges, us sensitives, you know? So, and especially if you're a telepath and intuitive, things like that, then we not only do we feel people's energy, but like we hear what they're saying about us in their head. We know what they're thinking, what they're feeling. Even animals, you know? I had a horse that I used to work with, Missy. Those of you who've been with me forever, you know Missy. But like sometimes I'd be like, I could hear Missy when I'd be like, come on, Missy, come here, I want to play with you. Come here. And I was like a little child calling to her, and I could hear her be like, I don't feel like it. And I'd be like, come on. And, you know, and she'd be like, ugh. And she would walk down and she'd be like, bitch, I'm like 30 years old. I'm a 30-year-old horse. Like, go take care of your own problems today. Like, you know. And my little sensitive child soul would be like, you be nice to me, horse, you know, 2147. But animals have just as much right. Sometimes they don't want to deal with all of our shit all the time. You know, when people are like, my 4-year-old dog is riddled with tumors. I'm like, oh, really? Is it because you fucking talk to your dog about all your sadness and leave all your shit with your dog? Do you bring your dog, you know, do you pray with your dog and pray over your dog to release that energy so they don't hold on to it? You know? Animals and humans, like all beings, plants, you know, oh, my plants are dying. I'm like, oh, I wonder why. Because they're absorbing all that energy and all that darkness. We must be mindful. So with that being said, I have no idea exactly what these messages are going to be. I just know the energy under which we are going to be doing them. And also my little trusty dusty homemade deck that I made on cards. Let's see what will come through. Oh, nature. Oh, nature, a good thing. And hats off to those who are going in nature. And good. So that's our big message for the tribe. And then I will be going in and doing the rest of these readings after I'm done with this. Okay, you guys, so maybe it's the crystals, maybe it's the rocks, the stones, the feathers, maybe it's the bark on the trees, who knows, whatever it is, whichever one you're drawn to. Oh, did you see that fairy going through? That felt like a really old ancestor energy, by the way. Oh, there's another one. Maybe it's them. Maybe they're flying out of that pile, that card, that, you know what I mean? Because each of these, some have more than one card and some only have one card. Okay, and then these are just going to be for clarifiers if need be. Okay, so let's look at this one more time. Reading 1, reading 2, reading 3, and reading 4. And beautiful souls, thank you so much for being a part of this tribe, for being a part of this group. And the more you like and subscribe and comment, the more it does help us get out there. And sharing these videos, you know, if you watch it and you're like, oh my gosh, I gotta send this video to my friend, you know, that's how it works. A lot of times when we, oh, do you see that? Another one. A lot of times when we get a surge of people, it's because of something that I was drawn to post. And then, bam, we get like 3 new people. So we're growing in numbers every single day. I love you so much. I will see you over at your reading. Take good care of yourselves and each other. Blessed be. Oh,